generally our rishis used to address everybody as Shinvantu Sarve Amritasya Putraha. They don't address as my friends or brothers and sisters. They remind us that in truth we are children of immortality. So what does it mean? Children of immortality means we are also immortal. So in the entire spiritual scriptures, the spiritual culture in our country, in Bharatvarsha, I think in Bharatvarsha, Indonesia also was included at that time. It's all within the Bharat continent. They had this thing to be reminded to all that we are not the mortal people. We are not the mortal existence because we are all suffering because of our idea of mortality. So their main purpose is to remind us that, oh, you are children of immortality. Shinvantu sarve amritasya putraha aye dhamani divyani tasthuhu vedahametam purusham mahantam adityavarnam tamasa parastat tameva viditva atimrityumeti nanya pantha vidyate ayanaya. He says, by knowing our true identity, who is the Mahan Purusha, that is the same residing in our heart, by knowing that truth, we become immortal. There is no other way. So we always address everybody as that our core presence, which is our real identity, as immortal soul. And that soul is one, uniform, single, which is pervading everything. That is the source of the universe. So if we summarize the whole spiritual pursuit, truly speaking, it is from our small, selfish, constricted identity, which in Sanskrit we call it Dehatma Bodha. That is, we are limited by our body, mind, personality, separate from all others. Truly speaking, we are not separate. It is a unified presence everywhere. So from that constricted identity, the idea of the constricted identity, to reach, which is called Brahmatmaikatva Bodha, Brahma Atma Ekatva Bodha. That is, we are the universal consciousness, which is the source of the entire universe also. So this is in a nutshell, this is the entire spiritual pursuit, from a small, selfish personality, body, mind, personality, limited identity, to an universal oneness. And everywhere what has been emphasized in our culture is to discover this oneness in the multiplicity, because our sense perceptions will always give rise to the plurality in mind. But we have to remember the uniform oneness in that plurality. That plurality is only a manifestation in that oneness. Then all our problems, whether it is individual or social, everything will go. That has been the practice. We will start with a little of formal presentation, so to say, that will actually crystallize and give you a clearer idea. Because we have lot of misconceptions about spirituality as well as about science, I will say. So we will try to clear it as far as possible. I will speak for some time, and then whatever questions you have, that will help me to clarify further doubts. Generally, how it happens, we have tried to show here. All of us from birth onward, we are observing the world of phenomena, so to say. Now, here we find that if suppose this table is there, unless I push it, it doesn't move. When I push it, it moves. When I want to raise my hand and I apply the force, I can raise the hand, otherwise it is not. When I eat, my hunger gets fulfilled. If I don't eat, it doesn't. Like that, you can take any number of examples. Everywhere, it automatically gives us a feeling of causality in us. That is, unless there is a cause, the effect cannot be had. This is very simple. Everywhere we have a feeling of causality that if the cause is not given, the effect will not be had. So it is a general observation of the world which gives a sense of causality in us, that the whole world there is a causality working. Unless the cause is there, the effect will not be there. Now naturally this cause, if it is taken further, will give rise to the quest for ultimate cause behind creation. Suppose there is storm, that the whole world is there before us. Even if we did not know about the entire universe, at least the earth is there. There are so many plants, so many animals, so many things happening, wind is blowing, storm is coming, everything is happening. So, if everything is caused, then who has created this universe? There must be some cause behind this existence, whatever we are seeing. Somebody must have created this universe. So we should know that this causality is giving rise to a thought about the creator of the world. The causality is embedded there. Because of the causality only we are thinking of a creator. Otherwise we would not have thought about the creator. Now that thought can start from a very naive level and go over to a very educated, cultured and refined level. So initially what we know about the long back, we call it naive religion, means the aboriginal religion, whatever we had earlier, which gives to, not aboriginal, even otherwise also, even now also it is there, that God as a superhuman being. That is, we are doing many things. We conceptualize God as somebody sitting in the sky somewhere, either in the sky or beyond. And from there he is dispensing everything. He is doing everything and he is giving us our result of what we are doing also. That is karma and karma phala, that we do good, so he gives this. If we do evil, then he gives this. All the moral codes are also related to that. That we will call the naive religion, that is conceiving God or having a conception of God as something superhuman being. We are creating the image of God in our own image. I mean, we are thinking of the God in our own image. From that, when the scientific enquiry started, we can say it came to a cosmic religion, God as cosmic intelligence and order. That is, when we start thinking about the world in a more refined manner and scientific discoveries are had, then naturally our mind will not agree that God will be somewhat like us and he is doing. There could be various other beings who could be superior to human beings also. And various other things will be there. Why should the creator of the universe be like a human being? It need not be, and it is not right to think in that manner also. So, but at the same time, they cannot deny that there is an order in the universe. Whatever we are seeing, everywhere there is a harmony, there is an order in the universe. And not only that, whatever has been created by nature, there is an intelligence working which is far greater than even our intelligence. We may have devised the computer and developing it further and further to very high refinement. Various things we are doing. But can we imagine our brain? Who has coded it? Who has devised the brain? If we really think of the brain, that itself is tremendous. I mean, we cannot even imagine the kind of intelligence involved in the brain. So there must be some intelligence working in nature, in creating the nature in this order, with this harmony. And that naturally will not vary from person to person. This concept of God, we can call it a concept of a cosmic God. It will be same for all people. We are not thinking in terms of a Kali or in terms of a Shiva or in terms of some fire or anything of that sort. That personal touch will not be there. It is an intelligence which is true of all human beings anywhere in the world. So the religion like that changes into an universal religion, which we can call cosmic religion, which even the scientists were given to. Although they were material scientists, we cannot say that they were not religious. Most of the scientists, as they progress in science, they understand more and more our limitations. Those who do not know science, they may be egoistic about science, but a real scientist can never be egoistic about scientific performance, because more the knowledge advances, more he comes to know that we don't know anything, we know nothing. So the humility, vidya dadati vinayam, our statement says vidya dadati vinayam. The more really we learn the world, we become more and more humble that we don't know anything. So this scientific inquiry, which was restricted to the material universe, it had to be restricted to, because we are part of the universe. As body, mind, personality, we are also created on the earth. We are part of the universe, and we are studying the universe. How can we conclude about the universe being part of the universe? So the first proposition or the first postulate was there. We can analyze the world, not the why of it, because we ourselves are product of the world, but we can definitely find out the order, some order in the universe, and find out how things are happening. So there will be two benefits. We will know that what will lead to what, that the causality we will have a clearer picture, and also we will be able to predict in what situation what will happen. That is what science has been doing, innovating things, applying causality, and also predicting things through the inferences. So, but that inquiry is absolutely restricted to what we are observing. Now what we are observing also, it may not be true. Suppose we start with a table like this, but when we really inquire scientifically into it, we find that it is really not so. We are seeing it orange only because of our some rods and cones which is giving an idea of color. There is no color in nature. It's all difference of wavelength. The total wavelength is huge. Only a minuscule part of it we are able to see. The others we are ultraviolet and infrared, we are not seeing at all. So it is our eyes which is giving things color. If we really inquire into even the heat, very soon we discovered that there is nothing called heat at all, so to say. The kinetic theory of heat says that it is only motion, mechanical motion of the molecules. So the feeling of temperature, it is all our creation. It is, truly speaking, in the world, it is only the motion of the molecules which is giving rise to the concept of heat. So all these things, although we are starting with our sensory observation, as we progress in science, we have to readjust our conceptions. Although the perception of our sense organs will remain, whatever we are seeing now, we will see. But in truth, what they are, when we go deep into it, that goes on changing. So that was there, but that was restricted to the material universe. Now spiritual quest, on the other hand, is looking within to find one's own real identity. Now, about spirituality, there is a lot of misconceptions. So we will go over to the next slide. Generally, about spirituality, we think that it is a conglomeration of some mystic ideas and practices related to God realization. We don't know, because suppose they say that we are meditating, and in the meditation I am having some experiences or I am having something. The other person cannot find out what has happened or not. So the mysticism is ingrained there. Suppose somebody says that I had the vision of God. How can we know whether he had or not and what he had or not? The scientists may say that, oh, when you are having the vision of God, there is an excitation in a certain portion of the brain. So it is only that. So these things, there is a mystic element and which can be contradicted by others, which is not provable. But what in our country, the development of the spiritual science has done, that is absolutely rational and experimental. That is what I wanted to present today. That spirituality, actually the religion is based on some faith in some conceptual God. We think of God and we have faith in it, and on that basis all the codes of morality and religiousness is developed. That is called religion. But real spirituality starts when we start questioning our faith. Acha, I have been worshipping God for so many years or so many decades. What has happened? Have I come nearer to God, or has God come nearer to us? If we question, what is that God? Is it really what I am thinking, or there is something more to be had about it? When we start questioning like that and inquiring into what is the real concept of God, various things comes under that inquiry, and that gives rise to that is the birth of spiritual pursuit. The spirituality starts at that point. So truly speaking, the religion is finally outlived to enter the spiritual arena. That is, as we go forward, suppose we go from primary class to a higher class to a further higher class, and we are outliving each stage of life. Similarly, as we go in the different stages of life, from the student life to the householder life to a further life like that, everywhere we are outliving a certain stage and going beyond. Like that, spirituality comes out of outliving religion. That is, inquiring into whatever we are practicing, where lies the truth. This inquiry itself is a scientific inquiry. Scientific in a sense, because rationality comes there. We are observing the world and making some conclusions. Now, questioning can be of various kinds. I will give you some examples. In all the religions, we always say God is omnipotent, omniscient, and omnipresent. This we are saying, always we are saying. Not only in Hindu religion, in all religions it is believed to be that. See, when we say that God is omnipresent, then where comes the question of thinking of God sitting somewhere or doing something from the heaven? Omnipresent means what? He is everywhere, He is present within us also. But normally we don't think, even knowing this also, when we pray, we think that it is God is somewhere and He will come down and He will solve the problem. Now, if we think of His omniscience, He knows everything, then where is the question of praying? If He knows everything, the moment I need something, suppose, oh God save me, does He not know that I am in trouble? Do we have to tell Him that God save me? Or I want something, there is a desire in the mind. Do we have to specially pray? God knows that I have the desire. I am not saying that prayer has no meaning, but I am saying that prayer is based on this kind of a concept which is faulty. Prayer has a meaning because when we are praying to God, it means we are applying our mind on a certain specific thing. Suppose we want something to happen and we are praying to God. That means our mind is applied on that particular want. Suppose God save me, God save me. If the mind is intense, mind has a great power. Mind is also, we think, we don't know the mind's power. Mind has got great power. So when having the faith in God, we are praying, actually it is the prayer, the force of that force created by the mind in praying, that is working out there. But whatever is there as want or as my prayer, God knows automatically because He is omniscient, He knows everything. Similarly, when He is omnipotent, does He not do everything He will be able to do? Why do we have to specially ask for anything? If whatever is to His wish, He will do. So there is a problem about the way we behave or the way we speak. There is a fault in it with our conception, even the religious conception of God being omnipotent, omnipresent and omniscient. Similarly, on the other hand, who am I? Who is interacting in the world? I am going to analyze the world. The science had analyzed the world, whatever we are seeing. Our people thought that running after the external things, we could not derive any happiness. Final happiness was not God. Then they started questioning that, let me know first, who is the seer in us, who is the perceiver in us? Because there are also some confusions. Suppose I will give some examples. We often say that I am sick today. And next moment we say, that my body is not well today. Just analyze these two statements. Once I am saying my body is not well today. That means body is it's a possessive case. Why? Body, I possess the body. Body belongs to me. That body is not well today. It is an object before me. Is it not? My body I am knowing it is not well. So it is an object before me. The next moment I say I am sick today. That means I have associated the body, identified myself with the body. The two are contradictory. If body is my position, I don't say that when the table breaks, I don't say I have broken. When the shirt we remove, we don't feel that I have removed myself. Nothing like that. So there is a confusion about the possessiveness. Similarly, you further go deeper into it. When we speak about our mind, we say that I am very sorry. The next moment we say that the mind is sad today. The mind is not alright today. My mind is not alright today. So mind, I am observing. At one time I am saying it is my mind, I am possessing the mind, and the mind I am observing. I am the subject, mind is the object which I am perceiving. The next moment I am associating and I am saying that I am sorry. Do you get the contradiction? That is, that subject is getting associated with the object. We are always getting confused because of this. We don't know the real subject. Always the subject is getting associated with the object. We go further deeper into the intelligence level. We say that my intelligence is not functioning all right today. It's dull. Or we think that in early childhood I was very sharp, but I am not sharp. That means I was sharp. Actually my intelligence was sharp. I am dull today. No, my intelligence is dull today. Again, that intelligence which we are observing, we are knowing that intelligence, how it was 10 years ago, how it is now, how it was yesterday, how it was 1 hour before. Everything we are observing. It is not I, but it is seen by me, known by me, perceived by me. So it is an object before me. So the subject, the real subject, who has been observing the body, the mind, the intelligence, the emotions, the thoughts also. Because we know the thoughts coming. Some thought came, good thoughts came, went away. Some bad thoughts came, went away. Who is seeing the thoughts coming and going? I am seeing the thoughts coming, arising and going. So am I not the seer of the thoughts, the subject for the thoughts also? Thoughts also become an object before me. I am the subject. So there also the real I, the subject of everything, it always gets shifted from whatever we are associating. This had been the pursuit or research in our country of our rishis, those who wanted to know the truth, what is happening in the world, wanted to know the life, what is happening in life. Who am I? That is the question they dealt with. Now, in trying to find out who am I, as they went further in, how will they know who am I? Well, suppose we said self. It is called self-realization, as you may know. That knowing which is that subject, which is the self of us. If we want to know who am I, how will I know? We have already crossed the intelligence level, thinking that I am not the intelligence. The intelligence, mind, body, everything is object before me. Now if we want to find out the self, then can we see that in front of us, know that self as different from us? Will you be able to think? If that is the self I am seeing, the moment I am seeing the self here, that becomes an object. That is no more the subject. Am I clear? So it becomes self-defeating. We can never know the self as we are knowing other things, knowing the thoughts, knowing the mind, knowing the body. We cannot know our real identity like that. Our real identity can only be known as that amness in us, that I-ness in us. Actually, all other things can be denied, but that we are. If I say that you are not, will you accept? That I feeling is right there. Actually, we are not clear about it because that eye is revealing everything. We are seeing the object because of that consciousness. Otherwise, we would not have seen the object. We are seeing the thought as revealed by that same consciousness. Otherwise, we will not know the thought in us. The computer may do various things, but is it knowing? It is not knowing. Computer, it can do much more job than what we are doing compared to what we are doing. But it will never know that what it is doing. That revealer part, the revelation is taking place from the consciousness within. It is revealing the entire external world, and it is revealing our internal world of mind, intelligence, emotions also. Everything is revealed by them. The problem is that when it is revealing something, our focus is on the revealed part, not on the revealer. This is the fundamental of spirituality. To find out the revealer, it is so difficult because always our focus is on what is revealed by the revealer. By the consciousness, whatever is revealed, our focus goes there. And we are not able to know what is the revealer. When all the objects are forgotten, including our own body, mind, personality, then the revealer reveals itself. That is what. So is there any mysticism about it? That is what is called samadhi. In spirituality, we call it samadhi. Now apparently samadhi is a mystic thing. We will say mystic because in meditation what is happening we don't know. And they are entering into samadhi and saying something. But it is experimentally the rishis, they entered into samadhi by looking, as I said, by doing this experiment. So when they report about the samadhi, it is an experimental result, just as in science. In science, the objects, we are experimenting with the objects. And you can repeat any number of times to see whether that conclusion is correct or not. In spirituality, we are experimenting with our own personality, with our own subject. So to do the experiment, when we get the result, we are recording that this is samadhi. Now, if another person has the repeatability, to get the repeatability of the science, we have to do the experiment ourselves. Because there is no way of having it outside like an object in science. Am I clear? Is it of your interest or am I saying something? Because it is science and spirituality, I have to say something about science and spirituality. But this is the fundamental in spirituality also. That we forget that it is so much rational and experimental.